The storm beast roared above the broken edge of the Bifrost. Thor planted his feet on the cracked rainbow bridge and held Mjolnir tight. The creature was made of cloud and fire, a huge twisting shape that swallowed stars and spat lightning of its own. Every time it struck the bridge, pieces of colored light broke away and fell into the void. "Come on then," Thor muttered. "If you wish to eat worlds, you will first taste my hammer." He rose into the air, cloak snapping in the windless dark. Mjolnir spun in his hand. Each turn pulled more power from the space between realms. Thunder rolled without sky. Lightning gathered in bright chains around the hammer's head, then ran down his arm and over his armor. Behind him, the broken gate of Asgard hung in the emptiness. Heimdall's post was shattered. There was no one to steady the Bifrost this time, no one to aim it. Only Thor, the last son of a broken throne, standing between the storm beast and everything he still cared about. He hurled himself forward. Mjolnir slammed into the beast's chest. The impact cracked its form wide open, spilling white-blue fire. The creature shrieked and lunged. Its massive arm of cloud grabbed Thor and threw him across the void. He hit the remains of the Bifrost hard enough to make the bridge ring. Thor climbed back to his feet, jaw set. "You are strong," he said. "Good. Then you will not break by accident." He raised Mjolnir high. This time he did not only call thunder. He called the full path of the Bifrost, the ancient road that had carried him between worlds. Lines of light woke under his boots, racing out in every direction. The beast sensed danger and charged. "Odin!" Thor shouted. "All-Father, if any of you still watch." The Bifrost flared to life. Power roared up through Thor's body, more than he had pulled since Ragnarok, more than he should have tried to hold alone. The storm beast crashed into the beam at the same time. Its own power mixed with his, wild and wrong. The bridge shattered. Thor felt reality twist. The Bifrost line snapped like a whip. Instead of a clean path, it became a jagged tear in space. Colors he did not have names for bent and twisted around him. His grip on Mjolnir was the only solid thing left. "For Asgard," he said through his teeth. The tear folded over him and swallowed him whole. Above Metropolis, the sky split. Clark Kent was already in the air when it happened. He had heard the passenger jet's engine fail before the pilot even finished the first panicked radio call. He flew up past high clouds, cape streaming behind him, ready to take the plane's weight in his hands like so many times before. Then the air turned wrong. The clear blue over the city went dark in a single blink. A jagged wound opened in the sky, glowing with strange shifting colors. Lightning fell out of it in thick bolts that made Clark's skin prickle even through his invulnerable frame. He slowed, eyes narrowing behind, the cape red blur. Something shot out of the tear. Not debris, not a meteor. A shape, wrapped in storm and fire, falling fast. The passenger jet dipped, caught in sudden turbulence. One wing clipped the edge of a lightning bolt and burst into flame. People screamed inside. Clark heard every voice. He shot forward. At the same time, the falling shape moved. It turned in the air with practiced ease, as if being thrown across the sky was normal. The storm around it tightened. The figure thrust out a hand. A hammer flew. The metal head struck the failing engine with impossible precision. The fire went out in a puff of steam. The hammer did not slow. It carved a path under the wing, catching the jet's fall from below like a solid pillar. Clark reached the nose of the plane and braced his hands against it. Together, the stranger's weapon and his own strength steadied the huge machine. The screaming inside dropped to a shaking silence. "Easy," Clark said. more to the people than to the metal. You're okay. I've got you. The hammer pulled the plane upward, gentle now. Clark guided from the front. They lowered the jet through the heavy storm and toward the city's outskirts, where there was room to land. Emergency crews were already moving. Only when the wheels touched rough ground and the plane rolled to a stop did Clark let himself look up again. The hammer ripped itself free and flew back into the sky like a living thing. It soared up toward a man standing in midair. The stranger was broad-shouldered, with long blonde hair that whipped in the strange wind. A red cloak hung from his shoulders. His armor gleamed, scratched but solid. Lightning crawled over him and sank into the hammer as it slapped back into his hand. Clark's hearing picked up hundreds of phones recording, hundreds of voices asking the same thing. Is that another Kryptonian? Is it Shazam? Is it a god? Clark rose from the plane and floated up to meet the man. Nice catch, the stranger called, voice loud and clear even over the rolling thunder. You fly well. Thanks, Clark said. He kept his tone calm. I'm Superman. The man looked him over, eyes sharp but not hostile. Thor Odinson, he answered. God of thunder, protector of Midgard. He glanced around at the city. Though this is not my Midgard. A god, Clark repeated in his head. Magic, not another Kryptonian. That explained the way the lightning felt. Whatever this is, Clark said. You opened a tear in the sky over a very crowded city. Thor frowned. The tear was not my will. I was thrown. Your world pulled me in when the bridge broke. We're going to need answers, Clark said, and the people down there need the storm to stop. That, Thor said, lifting Mjolnir, I can do. He spun the hammer once. The thunder snapped. Clouds twisted and rolled back from the city center, pulling into a wide circle around him. The lightning, that remained bent into clean lines, and vanished. On the Justice League's Watchtower, high above Earth, alarms went mad. Batman watched the screens in front of him. One showed the man who called himself Thor. Another showed energy readings from the tear. The numbers did not match any known alien tech or magic. The pattern looked old, older than Krypton, older than most records. Run it again, Bruce said. Cyborg's voice came over the comm. Already did. Same result. This guy is pulling power from, I don't even know what to call it yet. On the main screen, Thor and Superman hovered over Metropolis, facing each other in the torn open sky. Diana, Batman said, be ready. This might be another war. Below, the last of the lightning faded. The strange god in red and the hero in blue floated in the middle of a city that could not decide whether to cheer or run. And somewhere far away, the broken edge of a rainbow bridge still crackled, looking for a new place to land. Later, Metropolis looked almost normal from above. From the Watchtower, the city was a cluster of lights on the curve of the earth. The sky tier was gone, but the scanners still hummed with strange readings where it had been. Batman stood with his arms crossed, cowl shadowing his eyes, while the rest of the League leaned over a table full of holograms. This is Thor's energy pattern, Cyborg said. A figure of light spun over the table, showing layers of readings. Electric, sure, but there's something under it. It's touching. Something else. Magic? Wonder Woman asked. She stood tall and steady, arms folded, brow creased. Partly, Cyborg said. Also partly like the energy from the mother boxes. Also not like anything we've seen before. It's like he brought a piece of another universe with him. The hologram shifted to show the tear itself. Batman watched the way the edges bent inward, not outward. He did not cause the tear, John asked quietly from the side. The Martian's red eyes glowed faintly as he studied the data. He interacted with it, Batman said, which is enough. On another screen, Superman and Thor sat on a rooftop, talking. They had taken the first step away from the panic in the air below. Batman listened to the audio on a private channel. I was fighting a storm beast, Thor was saying. A thing of cloud and fire that wanted to eat the path between worlds. I tried to push it back. The bridge broke. Then I was here. How many worlds can you reach? Clark asked. Asgard once watched over 9, Thor said. Now Asgard is gone. The bridge is shattered. I do not know what is left. Batman muted the audio. He says he's a god, he told the others. He carries a weapon we can't lift. He can change the weather over a city in seconds. And he appears when the fabric of our reality tears open. Flash leaned back in his chair, red boots on the table. So, pretty normal. Tuesday for us. Batman gave him a look. Flash dropped his feet. Right, not funny. Sorry. We don't know if he's a threat yet, Superman said over the main channel. But he saved that plane, and he helped calm the storm. He also could have leveled Metropolis if he sneezed, Batman said. We need to know exactly what he is and what he wants. Then let's ask him, Diana said. She turned toward the window, where the curve of the earth glowed, face to face, not only through screens. Agreed, John said. His mind feels heavy, but not cruel. Batman watched Thor on the screen again. The god sat cross-legged, hammer resting by his side, cloak moving slowly in the breeze. He looked tired in a way that did not show in muscles or armor. We'll bring him in, Batman said, but we do it on our terms. Cal, keep him busy in Metropolis for now. Barry, you're going to play tour guide. Tour guide? Flash asked, brightening. Take him somewhere public but controlled, Batman said. Somewhere we can watch. Somewhere with food. Flash grinned. Big Belly Burger? Fine, Batman said. But stay alert. If he sneezes, you move him outside the city. On it, Flash said. He vanished in a streak of red. Batman turned back to the world map. On the edge of the planet's shadow, the point where the tear had been still glowed in the sensor's view. Whatever brought him here, he said quietly, did not close the door all the way. Thor sat on the rooftop's edge and looked down at the city. Metropolis was busy and bright. Cars crawled, people hurried, screens flashed faces and headlines. The air tasted different from his Earth. The sun felt just a little more golden. The weight of the world underneath was not the same. He felt like someone had shifted the ground under a familiar tavern by half a step. Superman floated nearby, relaxed but watchful. Thor could feel the man's strength. It was clear as the heat in the sun. This was a warrior who could move planets and had chosen instead to direct traffic and rescue planes. You keep calling this place Midgard, Superman said. On my world, my Earth, that isn't a word we use much. In my home, Thor said, Midgard is the name of the human world, the realm of men, the place we protect. You protect all of it, Clark said, or rule it. Thor gave a small smile. There was a time, long ago, when my father liked the second word better. I have tried to prefer the first. He looked up at the sky. Your stars are wrong. Your moon is the same. But the story it tells is different. The air is new. I do not know if the bridge will ever find my own stars again. There was a rush of air. A red blur appeared, then turned into a man in a bright red suit with a lightning bolt on his chest. Hey, Flash said. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt the sad cosmic talk. Batman says I'm your tour guide. Thor blinked. You move with great speed. Flash grinned. Thank you for noticing. So you saved a plane, broke the sky, and said you're a god. That's a big day. You hungry?" "Yes," Thor said at once. "I am starving. I've been thrown through a hole in reality. I fought a beast of storm. I am in a strange city. Of course I am hungry." "Perfect," Flash said. "Metropolis has a chain called Big Belly Burger. It's not Asgardian feast level, but out of 10, it's a solid 7.5, sometimes 8, depends on the fries." "What is a burger?" Thor asked. Flash stared at him. "Oh, we are fixing that right now." Superman chuckled. "Be careful, Barry. You're about to introduce a god to fast food. I'm doing a public service," Flash said, and clapped a hand on Thor's shoulder. "Come on, Thunder Guy, try to keep up." He took off. Thor followed, slower but still fast, flying low over the city. People looked up and pointed as a blur of red and a streak of storm passed overhead. Inside the Watchtower, Batman watched them on 7 different cameras and marked every exit around the chosen restaurant. Big Belly Burger was half full when Thor walked in. The door chimed. The smell of grilled meat, salt, and sugar hit him at once. Bright menus glowed above the counter. A bored teenager in a paper hat looked up, saw the armor and the hammer, and almost dropped his tray. Flash appeared at Thor's side, holding a plastic tray stacked with food. He had clearly already run ahead, ordered everything, and come back in less than a second. "Okay," Barry said. "This is a burger. This is a chicken sandwich. These are fries. These are onion rings. That is a milkshake. This is the second milkshake. For you, because you're huge." Thor sat at a table that creaked under his weight. He picked up a burger carefully. It leaked sauce and cheese. "This is food?" he asked. "It's the best worst food," Flash said. "Trust me." Thor took a bite. Flavor hit him in a wave. Fat, salt, heat, sweetness from the bun. It was messy. It was simple. It was not made for kings. He smiled. "This is..." He chewed, swallowed. "Surprisingly worthy." Flash pumped a fist. "Yes, score 1 for Earth Prime." Thor reached for the fries next. "Do you drink mead here?" he asked. "We have milkshakes," Flash said. "They are like, drinkable ice cream." Thor sniffed the thick, cold drink, then took a long pull through the straw. His eyes widened. "It is sugar in battle with itself." "That's not wrong," Flash said. At the far end of the booth, Superman and Wonder Woman sat, trying not to look like they were also guarding the place. Civilians took photos, but they kept a respectful distance. A god eating burgers was not something you saw every day. Diana watched Thor quietly. She understood the weight in his shoulders. She knew what it felt like to be called God and still sit in a cheap booth with plastic seats. "Thor Odinson," she said. "You say Asgard is gone." He nodded, swallowing another bite. "Ruined and rebuilt and moved more times than I care to count. At the last, we lived on a ship. Then even that was taken. My people are scattered. Those who live are rebuilding, as mortals do. I was with them. Then the bridge broke again. Now I am here." "I am Diana of Themyscira," she said, "daughter of Zeus. This world has gods and myths already. It has men who act like gods and gods who act like men. It is not simple to walk here with a divine name. I have found it is never simple to walk anywhere with a divine name," Thor said dryly. He took another bite of burger. "But I can learn your rules. If I am to be stuck on this version of Midgard, I would like to protect it, not break it." A small device at the edge of the table buzzed. Batman's voice came through, clipped and cold. "Thor," he said, "I'm Batman. I'm speaking from our base in orbit. I have some questions." Thor glanced at the tiny speaker and raised an eyebrow. You hide in the clouds and shout at me through toys. I prefer to call it maintaining distance, Batman said. You say you protect your Midgard. You also admit you broke something called the bridge between worlds. I did not admit it, Thor said. I told you the truth. The bridge was already weak. I simply pulled too hard while punching a storm monster. Flash whispered, relatable. Batman ignored him. That tear in the sky over Metropolis was not normal, he said. Our sensors picked up stress in the structure of our universe. If you keep doing what you did, you could rip it open again. Possibly worse. Thor set the milkshake down. His hand tightened around Mjolnir's handle. I did not come here to tear worlds, he said quietly. I came to stop one from being eaten. I failed. My punishment is that I am lost. I will not accept the idea that simply breathing here will kill this earth as well. We're not saying that, Superman said. We're saying we need to understand how your power interacts with our reality. And we need to know, Batman added, whether you're going to be a help or a walking disaster. Thor met Diana's eyes. He saw the same question there, but softened by compassion. I will let you test me, Thor said. Scan me, measure me, judge my storms. But understand this. He lifted Mjolnir slightly. The metal hummed. The lights in the restaurant flickered. I am not a weapon you can aim and put away. I am a man, a god if you like. I make my own choices. There was a long pause on the line. Then Batman said, Good. We prefer people who think. They are easier to predict than weapons held by fools. Flash blinked. That's you being friendly, right? For me, Batman said, yes. Thor, when you're done eating, we'd like you to come to the Watchtower. We'll talk terms there. Thor looked at the half-eaten burger, the pile of fries, and the milkshake. I will come, he said, but I am not done eating. Flash grinned. Welcome to Earth priorities. In a tall glass tower in Metropolis, Lex Luthor watched the footage again. Thor lifting the plane. Thor turning the storm off like a light. Thor sitting in a fast food restaurant, eating like a normal man while carrying more raw force than most armies. Lex muted the news anchors. He only cared about the raw images and the numbers in his own data streams. His private satellites and sensors had captured the energy spike when the tear opened. Run correlation with previous alien events, he said. His AI displayed graphs in the air. Kryptonian battles, apocalypse invasions, magic storms, none matched. Thor's energy curve was something new. A god, Lex said to the empty room. Not one of ours, not anything we built. A foreign deity dropped in our backyard. He hated the way the word felt in his mouth. If gods existed, then men like him would always be children in their shadow. He had already rejected that once with Superman. He would not accept it twice. Open a new project, he told the AI. Codename Asgard. Pull everything about this Thor, his hammer, his storm. Cross-reference any myth or record that matches his name. Processing, the AI said. On the screen, Thor laughed at something Flash had said. He looked open, simple, almost kind. Lex did not trust that at all. If you're real, Lex said softly, you can bleed. If you can bleed, you can be measured. And if you can be measured, he smiled, thin and sharp, you can be managed. Far away from Earth's blue curve, on a world of fire and stone, Darkseid opened his eyes. Apocalypse burned beneath his throne. Rivers of molten metal flowed past endless factories. The sky was a lid of smoke. In the middle of it all, the god-tyrant sat in cold stillness, feeling the universe shift. Desard knelt before him, hands shaking as he held a mother box. "My lord," Desard said, "there has been a disturbance around the source. The readings suggest—" "I felt it," Darkseid said. His voice was deep and flat, a sound that could crush hope on its own. Something struck at the walls of reality, something with the weight of a god. The mother box chimed in fear. Desard swallowed. "The energy pattern is new, sire. It is not Kryptonian, not new god. It is foreign." Darkseid's eyes glowed red, faint omega light held in check. "The multiverse births many parasites. Few are worth my notice. This one touched the wall and lived. This one fell onto Earth. That makes it interesting." He rose from his throne. Every movement was slow, as if gravity itself held its breath. "Show me this invader," he said. The air in front of him shimmered. A projection appeared. Thor over Metropolis, hammer raised, storm twisting. Around him, Darkseid studied the image without expression. "A god of thunder," he said. "There are many such stories, but this one is new to this plane. The League will scramble to understand him. The humans will fear him. The wall has already cracked once." He turned away. "Desard." "Yes, Lord?" "Prepare a test. A small one. Send a wave to a lesser city, Parademons, a champion. Open a gate where the League will come, and the Thunder God will answer. We will see how he fights. We will see how the wall groans." Desard bowed lower. "At once, great Darkseid." Darkseid looked once more toward the unseen Earth. "If he can be broken," he said, "I will break him. If he can be turned." The omega glow in his eyes brightened. "I will make him kneel." The Watchtower's docking bay doors slid open. Thor floated in, guided by Wonder Woman and Superman. The station was a long ring of metal and light hanging over the world. Earth turned slowly beneath the wide windows, clouds drifting across continents. Cyborg waited with a scanner on his arm. Flash hovered near the wall, still chewing on something from the restaurant. Batman stood a little back from the others, cape falling around him like part of the shadow. "Welcome to the Watchtower," Superman said. "Our home away from home." Thor looked around with open curiosity. "You build fortresses in the sky," he said. "I approve." He stepped onto the deck. The artificial gravity hummed under his boots. Mjolnir hung at his side, still and heavy. "If you'll allow it," Cyborg said, "I'd like to run some tests. Non-invasive, mostly. We just need to know what your storms are doing to our space." "Very well, Metal Man," Thor said. "If your machine bites, I will bite back. We will call it fair." "Noted," Cyborg said. They moved through a series of scans. Energy washed over Thor and bounced back. The readings climbed, shifted, stabilized. John watched from behind a glass partition, mind touching lightly at the edge of Thor's thoughts and then pulling back out of respect. "Anything?" Batman asked quietly. "He is what he says," John replied. "He believes he protects. He fears failure more than death." Batman nodded once. When the tests were done, the League gathered around a central table. Earth spun under a transparent floor. "We've confirmed he's not from any known pantheon here," Cyborg said. "His power taps into some kind of extra layer. It brushes the same space as the source wall, but not directly. That's new." "Can your machines tell you whether I like your burgers?" Thor asked. Flash snorted. "We could build a scale of 1 to 10. "Then they are useful machines," Thor said. Batman cut in. "Here is the situation. Our world has been invaded by gods and monsters before. Kryptonians, apocalypse, magic. We have fought them all. Some we trust, some we watch, some we lock away. I am not good at being locked away," Thor said. I noticed, Batman said. I am not asking you to go to a cell, yet. I am asking you to understand that as long as you are on this earth, we will watch you. We will measure the cracks you cause in our sky, and if you become a threat, we will stop you. Thor looked around the circle. Superman's eyes were kind but firm. Wonder Woman's gaze was steady. Flash fidgeted but did not joke. Green Lantern floated near the ceiling, ring glowing, ready. You speak plainly, Thor said. Good. Then I will answer plainly. I did not choose to come here. I do not wish to break your world. I wish to fight monsters and drink strong drinks and let people live their lives in peace. If you let me do that, I will stand with you. If you try to chain me, I will leave, or I will break the chains. Fair enough, Batman said. Here's our proposal. You move freely. You help when we call. We keep you updated on the damage your presence might be doing to our reality. You stay away from tearing holes in the sky unless the world is ending. I do not tear holes for fun, Thor said. Very well, I accept your watch. You may even call me when you have need of thunder. Flash raised a hand. And when we have need of someone to finish the leftover fries in the break room. Especially then, Thor agreed. A small smile tugged at Superman's mouth. Then for now, he said, we work together. Thor looked through the glass floor at the planet below. Strange, yes. Different. But it was still a world full of people who laughed, feared, and ate too much fried food. He lifted Mjolnir, letting it rest on his shoulder. So be it, he said. Let us see what monsters your Earth has. Far below, in a city whose name he did not yet know, Parademon's scouts slipped into alleys and shadows. Above, on Apocalypse, a mother box chimed as it prepared to open a gate, and Lex Luthor, watching from his tower, added one more line to his notes. Thor, cooperative, for now. The boom tube opened over the harbour like a wound. It was not in Metropolis this time, or Gotham, or any city the League watched the closest. It was a busy port town on another coast, full of shipping containers, cranes, and people who had never seen a god up close. Workers on the docks looked up as the air turned green and grey. A circle of crackling energy formed in the sky and spun wider, wider, until it was taller than the highest crane. The sound was a low, grinding hum that made teeth ache. Then the first Parademon dropped through. It hit the ground, wings folded, armor hissing. Its eyes glowed a dull, hungry yellow. It unfolded with a screech and leaped at the nearest human. All over the docks, people ran. More Parademons poured out of the boom tube. They took to the air, tearing at cargo towers, ripping cranes apart, diving on anything that moved. Alarms blared. Someone hit a panic button tied to the League. On the Watchtower, the alert flashed red. Unscheduled boom tube, Cyborg said. Coastal city. Massive Parademon signature. This is Apocalypse, no doubt. Batman's eyes narrowed. Darkseid, he said. Again, Flash groaned. Does he not get tired? Darkseid does not get tired, Diana said. He only waits. Thor stepped forward as the hologram of the port city appeared. He saw the creatures, the broken metal, the burning trucks. These beasts, he said, are familiar to you. Yes, Superman said. His jaw clenched. Parademons. Darkseid soldiers. We fought them before. And they still breathe, Thor said. That seems like an oversight. He lifted Mjolnir. Let us correct it. Superman already hovered above the floor. Green Lantern's ring lit up brighter. Flash bounced on his toes. Justice League, Batman said. Move out. Thor, you're with us. Remember, this could be a test. Good, Thor said. I like tests. They vanished in streaks of light and sound, heading for the port where the boom tube bled monsters into the air. Darkseid watched from a distance through Darkseid's devices and waited to see how the Thunder God would dance. News screens filled the sky over Metropolis. On one channel, a reporter stood in front of a busy harbour, now half covered in repair crews. Behind her, cranes were bent, shipping containers crushed, and a long black scorch mark ran across the water where the boom tube had hung. "Yesterday," she said, "this peaceful port turned into a war zone when an army of parademons attacked from a portal in the sky. The Justice League responded within minutes, but what shocked everyone most was the role of a new player, the so-called God of Thunder." The screen cut to shaky phone footage. Thor dropped out of the clouds, wrapped in lightning. Parademons swarmed him. He swung Mjolnir once and sent a line of crackling force through the air, carving a whole cluster out of the sky. Each impact shook the camera. Another clip. A huge, armored brute with a massive mace, Kalibak, charged Thor on the dockyards. Thor met him head-on, hammer against weapon. The shockwave knocked nearby containers over like toy blocks. In one shot, Superman flew past, holding a cargo ship steady with his bare hands, while Wonder Woman blocked a blast aimed at fleeing workers. The League was fighting for their lives. But every time the camera found Thor, he was right in the middle of the chaos, laughing as he fought, eyes bright, storms all around him. "Some are calling him a hero," the reporter said. "Others call him a walking disaster. Governments around the world are now asking the same question. Is this new god a savior or the next global threat?" In the Daily Planet newsroom, people argued over headlines. "Thunder God saves harbor." Too soft. "New God, new war." Too harsh. Lois Lane sat at her desk, watching the footage with a careful eye. She slowed it down at each key moment. The way Thor caught a falling crane with one hand and used it like a club. The way he jumped in front of a parademon blast that would have hit a group of dock workers. The way he winced, just a little, when he saw the boom tube crack the air like glass while he pushed it closed. Clark walked up behind her, glasses on, tie loosened. "Busy morning," he said. Lois didn't look away from the screen. "He fights like he's having fun," she said, "but he looks scared every time the sky cracks." Clark nodded slowly. He knows what it means when the fabric of reality starts to tear. He's seen it before. Lois turned her chair to face him. "And you? What do you see?" "A man who's lost everything," Clark said, "and who might break this world trying to protect it." Lois smiled faintly. "That sounds familiar." He shrugged. "At least I didn't bring parademons with me." She glanced back at the footage. Thor and Kalibak clashed one last time. Thor's hammer lit up with white-blue fire. When it hit, the boom tube behind Kalibak shuddered and folded in on itself. A wave of warped light rippled out up into the sky and then was gone. "Whatever that was," Lois said, "didn't look healthy." "It wasn't," Clark said, "and it's not over yet." The world leader's call was tense. Most of them were only shadows and outlines on the big screen inside the Watchtower's conference room. Some used real faces, some used flags, some only audio, but every voice carried the same thing: fear. "We have lived through Kryptonian invasions," one said. "We have seen apocalypse. Now you tell us there is a new god on our soil." "He's not from Apocalypse," Superman said, "and he helped stop the attack on the harbor." Batman stood with his arms crossed, letting Clark handle most of the talking. John stood nearby, sensing the mood. "Helped," another leader said. "Yes, But our scientists see the same data your cyborg does. That blast at the end of the battle stressed the structure of space again. Whatever power he's using could break our world. We are monitoring the effect, Batman said. His voice was calm and cold. We have him on our side. That gives us a better chance than if he were alone out there. That is what worries us, a third leader said. You trusted Superman. You trust each other. We are asking you now, can you really trust this Thor? There was a beat of silence. Wonder Woman answered. Trust is not a single switch, she said. We trust that he wants to protect. We do not trust his control over the forces that brought him here. Both can be true. That is not reassuring, someone muttered. Welcome to our job, Flash whispered under his breath. Batman shot him a look. We will keep you updated, Superman said. But you need to know this. Darkseid sent that army to test us. Thor's presence is already part of his plans. Pushing Thor away, or turning on him too fast, could push him into Darkseid's arms. The call ended with no clean answer. Just more demands for reports, more requests for contingency plans, and more eyes watching the sky. As the screen went dark, Bruce rubbed his temples under the cowl. They want guarantees, he said. We don't have any. We never did, Diana said. We only had each other. And now we have someone else, Clark added. Which is why we need to talk to him. Really talk. Lex Luthor put on his best human smile. Thank you all for coming, he said, into a cluster of microphones. The LexCorp logo gleamed behind him. Reporters raised cameras and recorders, hungry for quotes. As many of you know, Lex went on, our world has once again faced an attack from Apocalypse. The Justice League stood on the front line. We are grateful. We are also concerned. Images appeared on the screen behind him. Thor blasting parademons, closing the boom tube, sending that strange wave up into the sky. This new figure, Lex said, claims to be a god from another universe. He wields power that bends our space and touches the edges of our reality. We are told to trust that he is friendly. Perhaps he is, but even friendly gods can step on ants without looking down. Soft laughter from the crowd. Lex's smile did not change. I am not here to sow panic, he said. I am here to offer work. LexCorp is launching Project Asgard, a full study of the energies this Thor carries, with one goal: protection. Not worship, not surrender. Protection. He held up a sleek silver device. We are already developing shields that can deflect or absorb this new kind of energy. With the right funding, we could share this technology with governments around the globe. No more hoping that gods stay in a good mood. No more guessing who controls the sky. Hands shot up. Questions flew. Lex answered them all with care. Are you attacking the Justice League? No, of course not. I am filling the gaps they cannot. Do you think Thor is evil? I think he is dangerous. The two are not always the same. Do you really believe mortals can stand up to a god? I believe mortals built everything you see around you, while gods played with thunder. Draw your own answer. Later, when the cameras were off, Lex stood alone in his office, looking at a special invitation card on his desk. Now, he said, let's see how our thunder god handles a dinner invitation. He wrote one line in neat letters. Thor Odinson, you are cordially invited to LexCorp Tower for a feast in your honor. Thor stared at the card. Is this a challenge? He asked. Flash peered over his shoulder. It's a dinner invite, with rich people words. They were in a hall of the Watchtower, near a window. Earth turned slowly beyond the glass. Superman leaned against the wall. Batman stood a few steps away, reading a copy of the same card. Lex Luthor is not the kind of man who invites someone like you for fun, Bruce said. He wants something. He always wants something, Clark added. Thor turned the card over. He promises a feast, he said. Many courses, exotic drinks, live music. Is this your usual way of making war here? Sometimes, Flash said. Welcome to capitalism. I want you to go, Batman said. Flash blinked. Wait, what? We go to the enemy's home, Thor said slowly, and eat his food. We go to the enemy's home, Batman corrected, and let him think he's in control while we study him. You won't be alone. We'll be nearby, and if he tries anything, we'll be ready. Thor grinned. Ah, a trick feast. Now this is familiar. Clark shook his head but smiled. Just be careful, he said. Lex is good with words. He'll try to twist your sense of duty or your guilt. Thor's smile faded a little. I have plenty of both, he admitted. LexCorp Tower's top floor had been turned into a glittering hall. Long tables covered in white cloth were stacked with platters of food. Roasted meats, delicate fish, strange little appetizers on tiny spoons, bowls of bright salad, desserts that looked more like art than food. Servers moved back and forth with quiet steps. Thor walked in wearing the same armor he had worn since arriving. He did not have other clothes. He did not think about such things. Mjolnir hung at his belt. His cloak flowed behind him. Every eye in the room turned to him. Some guests wore tuxedos. Others wore dresses. Most of them were rich, powerful, or both. A few stared in awe. A few stared in fear. A few tried very hard to act cool and failed. Thor Odinson, Lex said, stepping forward with arms spread. Welcome to my home. Lex wore a dark suit that fit perfectly. His head was shaved clean, shining under the lights. His smile was wide and practiced. Your message spoke of a feast, Thor said. He looked at the tables with interest. I do not often refuse such invitations. Of course, Lex said. Please, eat, drink, enjoy Earth's hospitality. We can talk business afterward. Thor moved along the tables. He picked food without shame, piling a plate high. He tasted everything. Some dishes he nodded at. Others he frowned at. This fish is good, he said. This tiny thing on a spoon is not food. It is decoration. A nearby guest laughed nervously. Lex watched him like a scientist watching a powerful animal in a cage. He noticed every motion. The way Thor held himself ready, even while chewing. The way Mjolnir never left his reach. After some time, Lex led Thor to a balcony. The city lights stretched out below. The wind was cool. 2 glasses of golden drink sat on a small table. Is this your mead? Thor asked. Something close, Lex said. Human-made, aged, costly. Thor sipped. His eyes narrowed. It is almost worthy. Lex smiled. That's high praise from a god. I am not here to praise you, Thor said. Why did you call me? Lex's smile stayed. His eyes hardened. Because I live on this world, he said. I have watched it threatened again and again. Aliens, gods, monsters. Each time, we're told to be grateful when one of them decides to play hero instead of destroyer. You speak of Superman, Thor said. I speak of all of you, Lex replied. Flying men, magic women. Now you. Tell me, Thor, does it bother you that you fall from the sky into a world that did not ask for you? Thor looked out at the city. It bothers me that I failed to hold the bridge, he said. That my people are without me. That I might break this earth while trying to protect it. But I did not choose this. I do not enjoy being a problem. Lex stepped closer. You don't have to be a problem, he said. You can be a solution. I have the best scientists, the best machines. Let me study your power. Let me build systems that can contain it, direct it, send you home. He spread his hands, voice soft. Work with me, and we can give you back your Asgard, or something close. You can stop worrying about breaking our sky. We can control it. Thor's jaw tightened. You wish to put my storms in a box. I wish to put them in safe hands, Lex said. Mine. If we can aim your power, we can shield the planet. We can stop Darkseid. We can... You wish to own my power, Thor said. You wish to say to your own people, fear not, I have bottled a god. Lex's smile thinned. Would that be so bad? Mortals lead. Gods follow rules. The world would be safer. No, Thor said simply. The world would be smaller, and men like you would decide who lives under your shield and who does not. He set the glass down. I will let your league test me. I will listen when they warn me. I will not be your pet storm. Lex's eyes cooled. Think about this, he said. Darkseid will come again. He will not ask your permission. When he does, and when the league fails, and they will one day, you will wish you had a partner who thinks beyond throwing lightning. Perhaps, Thor said, but I would rather stand with people who bleed for others, not people who hide behind them while counting coins. He turned toward the door. You have good food, he added, but your company leaves a bitter taste. Lex watched him go, hands folded behind his back. Stubborn, he murmured. Good. It makes the break more satisfying. The Watchtower's observation deck was quiet. Thor stood alone, looking down at Earth. Cities glowed. Oceans were dark and deep. Clouds drifted slowly. From up here, it looked peaceful. He knew it was not. He thought about the harbor battle, the way his last strike had pushed the boom tube closed but also sent power up into the sky, making the sensors scream. He thought about the Bifrost breaking around the storm beast. The feeling was too similar. I keep breaking roads, he muttered. I am a hammer that cannot stop hitting bridges. You are not the only one who breaks things, a voice said. Batman stepped out of the shadows near the door. Thor did not jump. He was getting used to the man appearing like that. You walk too quietly for a human in armor, Thor said. You're distracted, Batman said. Lex, Thor snorted. He wanted to put me in a bottle. Of course he did, Batman said. He thinks he can bottle anything. Thor looked at him. Tell me the truth, Batman. If you could trap my power and use it without me, would you? Batman was silent for a long moment. I would try to understand it, he said at last. I would build ways to stop it if it went wrong. That's my job. But I wouldn't take it from you. I've seen what that kind of theft does to people. He joined Thor at the window. Earth turned on. We have had gods here before, Batman said. Ares, Trigon, old magic, angels. Every time someone says, trust me, I am divine. And every time people die. I am not those gods, Thor said quietly. I know, Batman said. You saved people at the harbor when you could have just fought the big brute. You helped close the portal when you didn't have to care about what happened to this Earth. That matters. But, Thor asked. But, Batman said, every time you pull your full power from that bridge, or whatever it is, the structure of our universe shakes. We can't ignore that. Darkseid won't ignore it either. Thor frowned. Darkseid. He is your great enemy. He's everyone's great enemy, Batman said. He wants control of all minds, all souls. He will either kill you or try to use you. Thor's hand tightened on Mjolnir. He already tested us, Batman went on. That harbor attack, that was him pulling on the cracks you made when you arrived. You're in his plans now, whether you like it or not. Thor stared down at the world. I know what it is to be used, he said. By my father. By my enemies. I will not be a piece on another board. Then don't be, Batman said. Make your own choices. That's all we ask. And when we tell you something is dangerous, listen. Not because we want to control you, because we want this planet to have a future. Thor let out a slow breath. I'm trying, he said. But every time I hit something, walls fall down. Batman gave a small, dry huff that might have been a laugh. Trust me, he said, that's not just a God problem. On Apocalypse, the report was not pleasing. Caliban knelt in pain, arm in a crude brace. He growled as he spoke. He struck hard, Father. His hammer is heavy. His storms are sharp. I nearly had him. Darkseid's gaze did not flicker. You did not, he said. That is why you are kneeling. Darkseid held up a projection. It showed the harbour battle, but not from a phone. This was from the boom tube's own edge. The moment of impact when Thor's final blow sent a wave up into the air. The moment the source wall shivered, far away. The Thunder God's power interacts with the wall, Darkseid said softly. It is crude, but strong. It can push portals open and closed. It can shake the edges of the multiverse. He is connected. Darkseid studied the image. He is a key, Darkseid said at last. A loud, clumsy key. The League has brought him into their house. The humans fear him. Lex Luthor plots to use him. We will do better. He turned his head slightly. There are already cracks from his arrival and our first attack, he said. Small ones, threads. We will pull on them. How, Lord? Darkseid asked. Humans worship anything that falls from the sky, Darkseid said. Old gods, new gods, images on screens. We will whisper through the cracks. We will find those who are ready to kneel. They will open more doors for us. He raised his hand. A mother box floated to him, humming. Send gifts to Earth, he said. Tools, fragments. Let the weak and the greedy build their own ladders to us. And when the Thunder God tries to fix what he broke, he let the Omega fire show for a moment in his eyes. We will be waiting on the other side. The first crack appeared over a farm. It was not big, just a thin line in the sky, like a scratch on glass, visible only for a second when lightning from a distant storm flashed. The farmer thought it was his eyes playing tricks. The second crack appeared in a city park. A child pointed up and said, Mom, look, the sky is bending. By the time the mother looked up, it was gone. The third crack appeared over the ocean and did not fully close. Cyborg traced them all on a digital globe in the Watchtower. They're small, he said. Most collapse in less than a second. But every time Thor used serious power, or we closed a portal, we see more. And the latest one, that's worrying. He zoomed in on a point near Gotham. Here, he said, the structure is weak. Something else is pulling from the other side. I'm also seeing mother box signatures popping up in places they shouldn't be. Black markets, cult sites, lab thefts. Darkseid is seeding tools, John said, and mortals are picking them up. Superman's fist clenched. He's using our world as his test ground. And using Thor's energy as a crowbar, Batman added. Flash looked between them. So we have cracks in the sky, stolen evil tech, a new god, and Darkseid whispering in people's ears, he said. Anyone else feel very underpaid? We don't get paid, Green Lantern reminded him. Exactly, Flash said. Thor stood near the map, studying the glowing points. This near Gotham, he said, pointing at the weakest area. That is where the crack is worst. Yes, Cyborg said. We've reinforced reality there with every bit of tech we have. It still wobbles. It's like something on the other side keeps pushing. Thor's hand tightened on Mjolnir. "That may be my fault," he said. "The way the bridge snapped, the way my power touched the wall. I have been hammering on the door without seeing the hinges." "You didn't do it alone," Diana said. "The mother boxes, Darkseid's portals, our own weapons. This is a knot of many threads." Batman thought for a moment. "We need to see what's happening on the ground," he said. "Sensors can only show us so much. We need eyes, ears, and someone who can swing a hammer if things get ugly." Thor lifted Mjolnir. "I am listening." Flash perked up. "I have an idea," he said. "What if we do a field survey, but make it less depressing?" Batman narrowed his eyes. "How?" "Thor keeps asking about Earth food," Flash said. "We have cracks in different parts of the world. Diners, restaurants, street stands. We do a food tour. We take him to those places. I run scans while he eats. He gets to see the world. We get our data." Superman smiled. "So it's a mission and a road trip." "Exactly," Flash said. "We hit the crack near Gotham last. There's a diner there that stays open all night. You'll like it, Bats. It has coffee." Batman sighed. "You're going to go anyway," he said. "At least this way I can put trackers on you." He looked at Thor. "You in?" "You wish to travel your world and feed me," Thor said, "and smash monsters if they appear." "Yes," Flash said. "Then I am very in," Thor said. The first diner was in Central City. It had shiny metal walls, a neon sign, and stools that spun. Flash called it Home Base and knew everyone by name. Thor barely fit in the booth. He tried chili dogs, pancakes, pie. Flash talked non-stop. While Thor ate, Flash accidentally dropped little devices under tables and along the ceiling. Miniature scanners tied to Cyborg. Every few minutes, the scanner on Flash's wrist buzzed as it picked up tiny tremors in the air. Nothing huge, nothing visible, just little hidden shivers in space. "Data point 1, Cyborg's voice said quietly in Flash's ear. "Crack residue low but present." They moved on. In Coast City, they went to a seafood place on the pier. The owner shook Thor's hand, laughed, and brought out an entire platter on the house just to see if a god could actually finish it. Thor did. "This fish," he said, "is worthy. The sauce is almost as bold as the sea itself." "Write that on the menu," the owner whispered to a waiter. "Worthy fish." Green Lantern floated above the water, rings scanning the waves. "Crack residue normal," reported. "No sign of apocalypse, just some bad fishing boats." In a small town, they ate at a roadside stand that sold grilled corn and spiced meat. Children asked for selfies. Thor let one small boy try to lift Mjolnir. It did not move. The boy still smiled. "You may be worthy one day," Thor told him. The boy looked at his own thin arms and grinned. "I'll eat a lot," he said. Flash nudged Thor. "See, you're already inspiring better diets." By the time night fell, Thor had tried 6 new dishes, declared 3 of them worthy, 3 in need of more salt, and 1 a crime. Flash had collected a full set of readings for Cyborg. "Last stop," Barry said, checking his map. "Gotham." Thor raised an eyebrow. "You speak of this place like a curse." "It's special," Flash said. "Rainy, broody, warm-hearted on the inside if you dig far enough. Also full of crime clowns, but they're usually busy with Batman." As they approached the city, Batman's voice came over the comm. "I'm already on a rooftop near the diner," he said. "Green Lantern, hold high altitude. John, scan for strange minds. Thor, Barry, go eat, but be ready." "Always," Thor said. In a forgotten church basement in Gotham, a group of people knelt around a strange altar. The walls were painted with crude images. A crack in the sky, a hammer wrapped in lightning, a dark stone face with burning eyes. Some symbols came from old books. Some came from phone screenshots of Thor and Darkseid. At the center of the altar sat a device that hummed softly. It was a mother box, but broken and patched with wires and LexCorp parts. A LexCorp logo, half scratched, still showed on one panel. The leader of the group, a thin man with wild eyes, raised his hands. "The wall is cracking," he said. "The new god struck it. The old god pushes from the other side. We stand between. We will open the way and be the first to touch the source." Some of the others shifted nervously. "What if it's dangerous?" one whispered. "Of course it is dangerous," the leader snapped. "Do you think you can step beyond the world without risk? But those who step first take the power. Everyone else kneels later." He pressed a small device in his hand. The twisted mother box lit up, green and grey. The air in the room grew heavy. "Feel it," he said. "The crack near this city. We will pull it open. We will show the new god we are worthy. We will ascend." The humming grew louder. The Gotham diner didn't look like much from the outside. A flickering sign, a few cars, rain on the windows. Inside, though, it was warm. The air smelled like coffee, fried food and pie. A radio played softly behind the counter. Thor ducked to get through the door. The bell chimed. A few late-night customers glanced up, then did double takes. "Hi," Flash told the nearest table. "Don't panic. He's with me." "Oh, okay," the woman said faintly. "That helps." They took a booth. The seat creaked under Thor again. This time, he seemed to enjoy the noise. "What should I try here?" he asked. "Everything," Flash said. "But start with the Gotham special. It's basically a plate of fried regrets. Very comforting." The waitress came over, pen ready, eyes wide. You're Thor?" she said. "Yes," he said. "Your food has a fearsome reputation. I am here to test it." She laughed, nerves easing a little. "Okay then. 2 Gotham specials, extra everything. Coffee?" "Yes," Thor said. "I am still unsure about your coffee drinks, but I am willing to be convinced." Flash grinned. "He's growing." While they waited, Flash tapped his wrist device under the table. It flashed yellow. "Cyborg," he whispered. "I'm here," Cyborg answered. "You're near the worst crack. I'm already reading stronger stress lines in the air. Nothing visible yet, but it's messy." Outside, the rain changed. It started to fall in odd patterns, sideways and up in little bursts. People on the street pulled their coats tighter and hurried. Batman crouched on a gargoyle above the diner, watching the street below. His lenses glowed as he scanned the air. The crack near Gotham was pulling. He could feel it in the fine hairs on his arms. "Something's happening," he said into the comm. "Cyborg, double-check those mother box pings. I'm seeing..." A sharp wrong sound cut him off. It was like metal scraping inside his skull. Down in the basement, the cult's twisted mother box screamed. The air above the altar tore open. A vertical line of nothing appeared, rimmed with grey fire. The leader gasped in delight. "It's working," he said. "The wall opens. The source..." He didn't finish. Something reached through. It was not a hand. It was not anything that had a name on Earth. It was a cluster of jagged shapes covered in cracks of white light, like a piece of the wall itself had been broken off and dipped in parademon flesh. It dragged itself into the room, pulling more of its body through the tear. The cultist screamed. The creature latched onto the broken mother box. The device fused into its chest, wires sinking into strange stone skin. It straightened, towering over them. Eyes like deep pits full of distant stars. It roared. Up on the street, Every window within 2 blocks rattled. The Gotham diners' cups jumped on the tables. "What was that?" the waitress asked. Flash's wrist device went from yellow to red. "Oh," he said. Thor's eyes narrowed. He heard the roar again, under the sounds of people and rain and traffic. It was the sound of something that did not belong here forcing its way in. He stood up. "Apologies," he said to the waitress. "I must smash something before I eat. Please keep my plate warm." He stepped out into the rain, Mjolnir already in his hand. The street ripped open 20 meters from the diner. Thor saw the first crack slice up from below, cutting through pavement like it was thin ice. A bright line shot upward into the air and hung there. The rain bent away from it. Then the line split wider. A jagged hole formed in the middle of the street, floating above the ground. Through it, Thor glimpsed a place that hurt his eyes. A wall of faces and shapes frozen in stone. A constant, deep light. The source wall. A shape forced itself out. The creature came up in pieces. A shoulder made of broken rock and fused metal. An arm that ended in too many claws. Wings like torn Parademon wings, but made of stone shards instead of flesh. Its body was split by glowing cracks that leaked white fire. The broken mother box was stuck in its chest, cables pulsing. It saw Thor and roared again. Batman's grapnel line yanked him from the roof to nearby cover. Green Lantern dropped from the clouds, ring flaring. "What is that?" Hal shouted. "Bad," Batman said. "Very bad." Thor stepped into the middle of the street, between the creature and the diner. "Darkseid's toy," he said, "and something older, a fragment of the wall." He rolled his shoulders. "You are ugly," he told it, "but I have hit worse." The creature lunged. It hit with the force of a falling building. Thor met it with Mjolnir. The impact sent a shockwave down the street, blowing out windows and knocking parked cars sideways. Flash zoomed customers out of the diner before the glass shattered. He ran back in time to see Thor and the monster grinding against each other, hammer locked against a claw that looked like it was made out of cracked glass. "Please do not break the diner," Flash muttered, mostly to himself. The creature opened its mouth. A beam of warped energy blasted out. Thor barely had time to raise Mjolnir. The beam hit the hammer and split into wild forks, burning chunks out of nearby buildings. Green Lantern flew in, ring blazing. "I'll contain it," he shouted. A green bubble snapped around the creature. It struck the inside of the shield. Where its claws touched, the construct cracked. "Yeah, no, that's not fun," Hal said through clenched teeth. "Ring?" he asked. "Unknown energy," the ring replied. "Warning, structure integrity compromised." Batman threw small devices at the creature's feet. They exploded into bursts of freezing foam, trying to pin it. The foam clung for a moment, then cracked and fell off as the beast's inner light surged. "It's drawing from the crack," Batman said. "Cyborg, we need options." "Incoming," Cyborg replied. "I'm linking to your visuals. That thing is a Parademon Source hybrid. Somebody jammed a mother box into reality's fault line and made a... Yeah, I don't have a polite word." "Can we send it back?" Superman asked. He hovered near the edge of the battle, catching falling debris before it crushed anyone. "Maybe," Cyborg said. "But we need someone who can push reality the way it came. Someone who already broke the wall once." All eyes went to Thor. He had figured that part out already. He ducked under another beam, rolled, and slammed Mjolnir into the creature's knee. The leg shattered into shards, then rebuilt itself from the light leaking out of its cracks. "You heal too fast," Thor said. "Annoying." "Thor," Batman said sharply. Cyborg thinks you can push it back through the breach, but if you hit it too hard, you might make the crack worse. Thor glanced at the hole in the air. It shivered with every movement of the monster. Each shiver sent a pulse down his spine. It felt like the Bifrost tearing. "So I must be gentle," he said. "That is not my best skill." Flash zipped past, slapping small devices onto the creature's sides. "We'll slow it down for you," he said. "You focus on the gentle hammering." "Thor," Green Lantern added, "I can hold the crack open steady with a construct if you aim the thing right. Think of it like a ring-assisted Bifrost lane." Thor nodded once. "Very well," he said. "We will herd the beast back into its hole. Then we will worry about the hole." He threw Mjolnir high into the air. Lightning followed it, spiraling. The storm did not spread over the whole city this time. He pulled it tight, narrow, focused. The creature lunged at him again. Thor caught its claw with his bare hand and shoved. His boots dug furrows in the wet street, but he braced. Flash ran circles around the monster, his speed trails forming a bright red ring. He vibrated just enough to throw the creature off balance. Green Lantern formed a giant, solid funnel of green light around the crack. The funnel pointed toward the breach, like a giant chute. "Okay, big guy," Hal muttered. "Time to go home." Batman called shots from a rooftop. "Left leg," he yelled. "Now!" Thor shifted his weight and smashed the creature's left leg again. This time it buckled and could not fully heal before Flash's speed, and the ring's funnel pushed it sideways. "Now!" Cyborg shouted over the comm. "Thor, pull from the bridge, but keep it low. No full blast." Thor reached deep. He felt the remnants of the Bifrost. They were faint, like old scars. He pulled anyway, but this time he did not ask for all of it. He asked for a narrow stream. Mjolnir dropped back into his hand, full of tight, controlled power. Lightning crackled along its head, but did not spread to the sky. "Back," he growled to the creature. "Back to your place." He slammed the hammer into its chest, right where the broken mother box sat. The world tilted. For a second, Thor saw two places at once: the Gotham street, the source wall, faces in stone, ancient shapes, a memory of Asgard floating in the void, a flash of Darkseid's burning eyes, 1,000 possible futures, each a thin line stretching away from the crack. He almost lost his grip. Then he roared and pushed. The creature shrieked as the combined force of Mjolnir, Green Lantern's construct, Flash's speed, and gravity itself shoved it backward. Its claws scraped along the sides of the breach, leaving glowing marks. It vanished through the hole. The crack tried to widen. Thor held his power tight, like a hand around a leaking pipe, and twisted. Instead of smashing it shut, he guided it, turning the energy inward. The breach shrank. For a moment, Gotham's sky looked like broken glass again. Then the crack snapped closed with a bright flash. Silence fell. Rain returned to normal. Thor staggered. Mjolnir felt heavy, even for him. His breath came in slow, deep pulls. Flash appeared at his side in an instant. "You okay?" he asked. "I am." Thor took another breath. "Very hungry." Flash laughed shakily. "Good. Means you're still you." Batman dropped from his line, landing near the center of the street. His cape was soaked. He ignored it. He looked at the spot where the crack had been. His lenses glowed faintly as he scanned. "The breach is gone," he said, "but there's a scar. The structure here is weaker now. If someone pushes again—" "Darkseid," Superman said. "Or someone on our side using the wrong tools," Batman added. He walked toward a man lying near a broken manhole cover, the cult leader. The man's robes were torn. His hands were burned. A small device lay near him, still sparking. Batman picked it up. LexCorp's logo stared back at him through soot. "Of course," Batman muttered. He looked at the burned man, who blinked up at him in shock. "You tried to open the wall," Batman said. "You nearly unleashed something that would have eaten your city." "We were going to ascend," the man whispered. "The new god broke the sky. The old god called us. We just followed." Batman's mouth was a hard line. "You followed a lie." Back at the diner, the waitress was still holding Thor's plate. She stared out the window at the broken street, then at the god of thunder as he walked back in with rain in his hair and dust on his armor. You saved us," she said softly. "I tried," Thor said. "Your city is strange, but its food is stubborn. I did not want it crushed." He sat down again, slower this time. His hands shook just a little when he picked up his fork. Flash dropped into the opposite seat, still buzzing with leftover speed. "Is the plate still warm?" Thor asked. "Yes," the waitress said. She managed a small smile. "On the house?" "No," Thor said, reaching for a pouch at his belt. "I have learned. On this earth you pay for food. It is a ritual. I will not anger your gods of money." He put a handful of strange Asgardian coins on the table. They glowed faintly. Flash winced. "We need to talk about currency later," he whispered. Batman stepped into the diner doorway, dripping rain. He watched Thor dig into the plate of fried food with something like approval. "You held back," Bruce said. "Good." "I did not enjoy it," Thor replied through a mouthful. "But it seemed important." Green Lantern leaned against the counter, ring dim. "We found LexCorp markings all over that cult's gear," he said. "Broken mother box too. He's mixing apocalypse tech with Asgardian energy. That's a new level of stupid." Superman wiped dust off his cape and sat at the counter. "He'll say he lost some equipment," he said. "He'll blame it on theft, but he knows what he's doing." Batman nodded. "We'll deal with Lex," he said. "For now, we focus on the cracks. That thing was only partially born, and it almost broke a city block. If a full piece of the wall comes through, we're in trouble." Thor swallowed and set his fork down. "When I touched the breach," he said, "I saw more. Not just that beast. Faces in stone, lines stretching in every direction, Darkseid waiting, and other shapes watching. I think the wall is thinner now. My presence, your wars, his portals, they are all blows on the same door." Flash shivered. "I don't like the idea of the universe being a door." "Then think of it as glass," Batman said. "Glass can crack, and if we keep throwing stones, it will shatter." He looked at Thor. "You are both a stone and a hand that can press the cracks closed. People will see that. They'll worship you, fear you, try to use you. Darkseid will try hardest of all." Thor met his gaze. "Let him try," Thor said. "I am done being pulled like a puppet by father or fate. If this world breaks, it will not be because I ran away from the cracks. It will be because I hit the wrong things, and I will do my best not to." Flash raised his coffee cup. "To not hitting the wrong things," he said. Thor lifted his glass of Gotham coffee. "To learning where to aim," he said. They clinked cups. Outside, Gotham's sky was dark and wet, but unbroken for now. Far above, on the Watchtower, Cyborg watched new data scroll in. The scar in reality over Gotham was smaller, but brighter. Thor's interaction had changed it. It now carried both Apocalypse and Asgard signatures. "We fixed it," Cyborg said quietly, "and we painted a target on it at the same time." John stood beside him, arms folded. "He will be at the center of whatever comes next," the Martian said. "Yes," Cyborg agreed, "like a lightning rod." On Apocalypse, Darkseid smiled. "On Earth, Lex Luthor scowled at images of a broken mother box with his logo on it and began planning how to spin the story. In a small Gotham diner, Thor took another bite of the Gotham special, chewed slowly, and nodded. "This," he said, "is very worthy." He knew that the universe was cracking. He also knew that for the first time since he had fallen through the broken bridge, he did not feel entirely alone. Weeks passed, but the cracks in the sky did not forget. They did not stay open, not like the rift over Gotham, but they stayed in the numbers. On the Watchtower, Cyborg's screen showed thin red lines on a spinning globe. Some got weaker, some stayed the same. A few got just a little worse every time Thor used his full power. Down on Earth, life kept going. Thor fought alongside the League again and again. He helped Superman push an asteroid away from Earth without needing to break it. He flew with Green Lantern to stop a falling satellite. He stood shoulder to shoulder with Wonder Woman when an old god rose out of a ruined temple and tried to claim the world as its kingdom. He tried to hold back, to keep his storms tight and narrow. Sometimes he slipped. When he did, the sky shivered. He also kept eating. Big Belly Burger made a thunder meal for a week. It was 3 burgers stacked together with extra everything. Thor finished it in one sitting and declared it dangerous but worthy. In Central City, the diner hung a small hammer over the door. In Gotham, the night shift cook taped a sign above the fryer that said, "Asgardian approved," after Thor came back twice for the Gotham special. Children wore cheap plastic helmets and swung toy hammers in parks. They yelled for Midgard and chased each other around. Some people loved him, some did not. News channels ran debates every night. "Thor is an interdimensional refugee," one guest said. "He deserves our help." "He is a walking bomb," another replied. "Every time he uses his full power, the fabric of our universe shakes. How long until something tears open that we cannot close?" Governments sent more messages to the Watchtower. They wanted numbers, they wanted plans, they wanted control. Inside the League's meeting room, the air felt heavy. On the table, Cyborg projected a graph. It showed the strength of the cracks over time. The line wobbled like a heartbeat. "Here," Cyborg said, pointing to sharp spikes. "Thor's arrival, the harbor fight, Gotham. Every major event with him and Apocalypse together. The curve goes up each time. It drops after we fix things, but not all the way." "So we're losing ground," Green Lantern said. "Slowly." "Darkseid is pushing from the other side," John said. "And others. I can feel attention. Things watching, waiting." Superman rubbed his jaw. "We can't blame Thor for Darkseid," he said. "Darkseid would try to break through anyway." Batman stared at the numbers. "But Thor gives him something new to grab," he said. "A new handle on the wall. He didn't ask for that, but it's real." Diana looked at Thor. He sat at the far end of the table, arms folded, eyes on the spinning globe. He had listened to all of this without speaking. His shoulders were tense. "It seems," he said at last, "that I break more than I fix." Flash opened his mouth, then shut it. "No," Superman said. "You helped us close the cracks every time. Without you, the harbor would be gone. Gotham might be too. Darkseid's forces would already be walking through." "And yet," Thor said, "the wall still bleeds. My storms touch it. My hammer shakes it. Your machines show lines because I swing too hard." Cyborg shifted uncomfortably. "It's more than that," he said. "It's Apocalypse tech, mother boxes, our own weapons. This is a whole history of damage. You're a new kind of pressure, but you're also a patch. I know that sounds dumb, but it's true. Dumb but true is my favorite flavor, Flash said. Batman did not smile. Thor, he said, this is going to get worse. The governments are scared. Lex is whispering in their ears. Darkseid is waiting. We need to know what you want, not as a weapon, as a person. Thor met his eyes. What I want, he said quietly, is to go home, to see my people, to sit in a hall that smells of smoke and meat and spilled ale, to know that when I swing my hammer, the only thing that cracks is a monster's skull. He looked down at Earth. That is not possible, he said, so I must choose something else. Diana watched him, feeling the weight in his voice. We will stand with whatever you choose, she said. But we must speak plainly. If we cannot find a way to stabilize these cracks, this world will tear. If you decide to leave, we will help you. If you decide to stay, we must find a way to make your storm safer. Thor nodded slowly. Then give me time to think, he said, and food. Thinking is easier with food. Flash raised a hand. I volunteer as snack support. Of course you do, Batman muttered. The night was quiet over Metropolis. Thor sat alone on a tall building near the daily planet globe. The city lights flickered below. Cars moved like slow rivers. The sky was clear, for once. No storms, no cracks, just stars he did not know. Mjolnir lay beside him. He did not hold it. Not touching the hammer felt strange, like not wearing a part of his own hand. But he wanted to see the world without its pull for a moment. He thought about Asgard, about his friends, about Loki, about every mistake that had brought him here. Lost, a voice said. It did not come from the air. It came from inside his head, like a memory spoken with someone else's mouth. Thor's hand moved toward Mjolnir without thinking. He stopped himself and looked up. A shape stood in front of him. It was not really there. It was a projection, a ghost, reaching through the thin walls of reality. The edges of it flickered. The middle was solid. Darkseid. He did not glow or shout. He simply stood, hands behind his back, stone face calm. Return to your hole, Thor said. This is not your world. Every world is my world, Darkseid replied. In time. His eyes were dim, but Thor could feel the Omega power behind them. It was like standing in front of a closed furnace with the door barely cracked. You have been busy, Darkseid went on. Breaking bridges, patching walls, eating your way across this earth. Thor narrowed his eyes. You watch me eat? I watch everything that matters, Darkseid said. You matter now. You have touched the source wall and survived. You have shaken it with your hammer. You are a key. Thor bristled. I am no one's key, he said. I am a man, a god, a drunk sometimes. I am not a tool. Darkseid's lips shifted, almost a smile. You are many things, he said, but you are also tired. You miss your Asgard. You fear breaking this new world as you broke the bridge that brought you here. He lifted one hand, palm up. In it, images formed. Asgard, whole and shining in the void. Golden towers, banners in the wind, people walking, laughing, feasting, Heimdall at the gate, Odin on a throne, his mother alive, his friends unbroken. It hurt to look at. I can remake it, Darkseid said softly. Not a trick, not an illusion. Real stone, real people, plucked from other lines of time, other branches. The multiverse is full of Asgards waiting to be claimed. The image shifted. Earth, quiet and orderly. No crime in the streets, no cracks in the sky. People walking in perfect lines. No one shouting, no one hungry. Everyone's eyes were blank. With your power and my anti-life, Darkseid said, we could end fear, end chaos. No more guessing who breaks the sky next. No more governments begging for control. You could be a king again, a protector in truth. No more accidents, no more doubt. Thor's throat felt tight. He knew this was wrong. He also knew how much the image in Darkseid's hand spoke to the holes inside his chest. "Your order is a cage," Thor said. "Your peace is slavery." "Slavery to what?" Darkseid asked. "To safety? To certainty? The humans already chain themselves to their devices, their leaders, their heroes. You see it. They worship you when you save them. They curse you when you scare them. They beg your league for answers." He stepped closer. The projection's weight pressed against Thor's skin. "With me," Darkseid said, "you would never need to guess again. No more watching cracks spread because lesser beings play with tools they cannot understand. No more Lex Luthors. No more cults. No more broken walls." Thor's fingers twitched toward Mjolnir again, then clenched into a fist. "I have worn chains," he said. "I have been a weapon in my father's hand. I have watched worlds break because someone thought they knew what was best for everyone. I will not help you carve this world into your shape." "You already are," Darkseid said. "Every time you pull your storms through the wall, you widen the path. Every time you refuse to rule, others rush to fill the space. Lex, governments, fools. They will use your cracks whether you stand with me or not." He held out his hand again. "Take my offer," he said. "Stand with me. Rule openly. We will save this planet from itself, and Asgard will rise again from the ashes." Thor stared at the image of his home. He thought about his people rebuilding, not as gods above mortals, but as refugees mixing into other worlds. He thought about the smell of smoke in a real hall, the taste of mead, laughter. Then he thought about Gotham's cult, eyes glazed, reaching for a lie in a broken basement. He thought about the boy at the roadside stand, grinning and promising to eat more so he could lift a hammer. He thought about burgers shared with Barry, quiet talks with Clark, Diana's steady gaze, Bruce's cold honesty. "No," Thor said. Darkseid's eyes brightened. "No?" he repeated. "No," Thor said again. "You offer me ghosts and chains. I have had both. I prefer messy freedom and bad coffee." Darkseid's face turned just a little harder. "You refuse to save your people?" he asked. "My people are not stones and towers," Thor said. "They are hearts. They are stubborn. They do not need you to steal other Asgards to feel whole. And these humans do not need me as their king. They need me as their shield." He picked up Mjolnir. "If your order is the only way to save them," he said, "then they are not worth saving. But I do not believe that. I believe they are worth the risk." Darkseid's eyes flared with full Omega fire now. The air around Thor shook. "So be it," Darkseid said. "If you will not rule with me, you will fall with them." His image flickered. "When the cracks widen again," he said, "remember this moment. Remember that I offered you a throne and you chose a grave." Then he was gone. The sky was clear again. Thor let out a breath he had not noticed he was holding. His hands shook, not from fear of Darkseid's power. He knew that fear. It was from the wounds Darkseid had poked. He sat back down on the edge of the building and laughed once, without humor. "Bad coffee," he muttered. "I should have said good coffee." The call from Lex came the next day. Batman took it in the cave, in front of the giant screens. Bats rustled high above. The glow from the monitors painted his face pale under the cowl. Lex's face appeared sharp and clean. "Bruce," Lex said. "Or do you prefer Batman for this conversation?" "You already used my name," Batman said. "You wanted to rattle me. It didn't work. What do you want?" Lex's smile was thin. "To help you," he said. "You are in a difficult spot. You have a god on your team whose power is slowly tearing your universe. You have governments begging for answers. You have Darkseid sniffing around like a wolf. And you have me, with data you cannot ignore. He flicked his fingers. Graphs appeared on Batman's screens. They matched Cyborg's, Thor's power curves, crack growth, motherbox signals. You've been spying on our systems, Batman said. I've been paying attention, Lex replied. You're not the only one who can run numbers. He opened another file. It showed a sleek device like a ring of metal with a glowing core. This, Lex said, is a prototype of something I call a phase driver. With the right energy input, it could push a being like Thor back through the cracks he opened. Or it could dampen his connection to the wall, locking away the part of his power that hurts your world. Batman's jaw tightened. And what does it do to him? He asked. Lex shrugged. It sends him home, or somewhere close, or it saves your Earth at the cost of his strength. Is that not worth considering? I know you, Lex, Batman said. You don't build anything without a back door. Project Asgard is about survival, Lex said. You want free will and trust. I want a planet that doesn't crack in half. We're not as far apart as you think. He leaned forward. Think like a human, Lex said. Not a bat, not a god. If the day comes when Thor stands on one side of a crack and your world stands on the other, will you really choose him over everyone else? The cave was silent for a long moment. I won't choose your machine, Batman said. I don't trust your hands on any lever that big. You don't have to, Lex said. Take the plans. Build your own version. You'll do it anyway in your own way. I'm just saving you time. He sent a file. I'm not your enemy, Batman, he said. The gods are. Darkseid is. Thor might be one day. When that happens, you'll need a human solution. This is it. He cut the call. The file waited on Batman's screen. He stared at it. Alfred's voice drifted up from the stairs. Master Bruce, he called gently. Coffee? Bruce did not look away. Later, he said. He copied the file into a sealed offline system. Then he closed it without opening. Cyborg, he said over the League line. I'm sending you something. Don't use it. Just lock it away. The meeting on the Watchtower felt different. The last time Thor had stood in the center of the main room, he had been angry and hungry. Now he was calmer, but the lines around his eyes were deeper. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman stood facing him. The others were nearby. John by the wall, Cyborg at his console, Flash leaning on the table, Green Lantern flipping his ring between fingers. Darkseid spoke to me, Thor said, before anyone could ask. He used the cracks to send a shadow of himself. He offered to rebuild Asgard and this Earth in exchange for my help in putting everything in chains. Of course he did, Hal muttered. Thor looked at each of them in turn. I refused, he said, because I'm not a coward, because I'm not his, because I like your food too much. Many reasons. Flash smiled despite himself. But he is right about one thing, Thor went on. I am part of this problem. I pull storms through a wall that is already cracked. My hammer is heavy. My choices will matter more and more. We know, Superman said. We were going to tell you. Batman got new data from Lex. We have options. Bad ones, Batman added. Lex thinks we should build a device to drain your power or throw you back through the cracks. I don't want that. But I would be lying if I said I hadn't thought about what we would do if you lost control. Thor raised an eyebrow. You think about how to stop Superman, he said. I assumed you would think about how to stop me. Batman did not deny it. We will not use any device on you without your consent, Diana said firmly. That is not how we work. We are not Darkseid. We are not Lex. But you must understand the risk. The cracks are growing. The scar over Gotham glows with both Asgard and Apocalypse now. If Darkseid pulls again. I know, Thor said. He stepped closer to the window, looking down at Earth again. You said before, he went on, that you would stand with whatever choice I make. So here it is. He turned back to them. I will stay, he said. I will not run back through some hole and leave you with a mess I helped make. I will not let Darkseid use my absence as an excuse to break your world faster. He lifted Mjolnir slightly. I will train, he said. I will learn to call less power from the bridge. I will let your machines guide my hand. I will pull, not rip. I will strike, not smash. I will aim at the right things. He looked at Batman. And if one day I lose control, he said quietly, if the cracks widen and I cannot pull back, then you will do what you must. But that day is not today. Superman stepped forward. We don't want that day, he said. We want you here, as an equal, as a friend. He held out his hand. Thor looked at it, then took it. Diana smiled. Then we fight together, she said, and we repair this world together. Batman said nothing, but the tension in his shoulders eased a little. Cyborg's console beeped. Guys, he said. Darkseid didn't wait for us to finish our feeling circle. I'm getting a huge energy spike over Gotham, bigger than before, and something else is happening on the other side of the planet. Gravity is shifting. On screen, Batman snapped. The globe appeared. Over Gotham, the scar they had closed glowed bright white and harsh red. Beams of energy shot up from it, piercing the upper atmosphere. On the opposite side of the world, over the ocean, space was bending. A huge, dark shape loomed just beyond sight. It looked like a planet made of rusty metal and fire. Apocalypse. It was not fully here, but it was closer than it had ever been. Darkseid is trying to pull Earth toward him, John said. He is using the cracks as anchors. If he drags us any closer, Cyborg said, the tides alone will wreck half the coasts, and that's before he drops an army on our heads. So we cut the anchors, Batman said. We stop whatever he planted in Gotham, and we push Apocalypse back. Easy, Flash muttered, like kicking a god in the teeth. Superman looked at Thor. Ready? He asked. Thor twirled Mjolnir. Lightning flickered along the head. I just made a promise, he said. Let's keep it. The sky over Gotham turned wrong again. People pointed as a beam of light shot straight up from one part of the city, piercing the clouds. The beam was not clean. It flickered and wavered, full of crackling noise. The air around it warped. At the base of the beam, the scar from the last battle had reopened. A machine now sat over it, half built from Apocalypse metal, half built from stolen Earth tech. Its legs dug into the ground, claws sunk into the edges of the crack. It looked like a spider made of engines. Parademons swarmed around it, guarding it, feeding it power from their own bodies. Every time one died, its energy flowed into the machine. The beam brightened. Above, in the warped sky, something else appeared. Not Darkseid himself, but a huge stone face, carved from the wall and animated by his will. Omega energy burned in its eyes. It stared down at Gotham like a god through a keyhole. Beautiful, Darkseid's voice murmured through the air. One more pull. The League arrived in a flare of color. Superman hit a wave of parademons first, plowing through them like a flying battering ram. Wonder Woman dove with sword and shield, cutting a path toward the machine's legs. Flash raced along the streets, pulling people out of danger zones. Green Lantern threw up a dome over part of the city to block falling debris. Cyborg opened up with sonic cannons and energy beams, targeting weak joints. Thor landed in front of the crack. He could feel it pulling on him, like a tide trying to drag him under. The machine drank from the wall and from him at the same time. His storms answered whether he called them or not. "Not this time," he growled. He slammed Mjolnir into the ground. A barrier of lightning rose around the crack, trying to cut the machine off. The machine screamed, its legs pushed harder. Batman swung down on a line, landing on one of the machine's legs. He planted explosives along a thick cable that ran into the beam. "Cyborg," he said, "I see human tech mixed with apocalypse. Can we shut it down without blowing the whole block?" "Working on it," Cyborg replied. "That thing's using the scar as a socket. It's half plugged into your world. Thor, can you feel a way to unplug it instead of smashing the whole outlet?" "Yes," Thor said, "but it will hurt." "Do it anyway," Batman said. The giant stone face in the sky turned its eyes on Thor. "You refuse my hand," Darkseid's voice said. "So now you will hold up the world as it falls." Beams of Omega energy shot from the eyes. Thor raised Mjolnir. The beams hit the hammer and split. Some arced into the sky. Some bounced into empty buildings. Wherever they touched, matter burned in impossible ways. Superman flew up to intercept the next blast. It hit his chest and pushed him back, but he gritted his teeth and held. "Don't look directly at them," he gasped. "Good tip," Flash said, zipping past. Diana hurled her lasso around one of the machine's legs and pulled. With a roar, she ripped it free from the ground. The machine lurched. "It is still anchored to the crack," John said, mind voice reaching them all. "The connection is not only physical." "Then we cut the other kind," Thor said. He stepped closer to the scar, ignoring the pull. The beam burned his skin. His armor glowed. He could feel the wall behind the light, full of frozen shapes and locked stories. He reached not for all his power, but for a different part. The part that remembered the rhythm of the bridge when it worked right. The part that knew how to open a path slowly, then close it without shattering. "Cyborg," he said, "give me your pattern." Cyborg systems linked to Mjolnir in a quick burst of data. For a moment, Asgardian magic and Earth tech touched. A new pattern formed in Thor's head, like a song with new notes. Flash ran around the machine, vibrating at a very precise speed, amplifying Cyborg's signal. Green Lantern wrapped a huge green hand around the machine, holding it in place. Superman and Wonder Woman kept parademons off them, fighting back to back. Batman blew the last of the grounding cables. "Now!" Batman shouted. Thor raised Mjolnir high. He did not pull all the bridge. He pulled just enough. He tuned it to Cyborg's pattern. He let Flash's hum guide the rhythm. He brought the hammer down on empty air above the crack. The world rang. The beam changed. It flickered from harsh red to a cleaner white blue. The machine's claws lost their grip on the scar. Instead of drinking from the wall, it suddenly found its link reversed. Energy flowed backward. The machine convulsed. Parademons attached to it shrieked. The giant stone face in the sky flared with surprise. "You dare!" Darkseid's voice cut off as Thor pushed harder. "Back," Thor said through gritted teeth. "You are not welcome here." He felt Darkseid's pull on the other side, like a hand on the other end of a rope. For a moment, they wrestled. Thor's arm shook. His vision blurred. He saw Asgard, Apocalypse, Earth, all stacked on top of each other. Then he thought of Gotham's diner, of the waitress holding his plate, of kids in plastic helmets, of Lois watching the sky, of Clark's quiet hope, of Bruce's stubborn human fear. He pushed everything he was into the blow, The machine ripped free from the crack and flew upward, dragging a chunk of scar energy with it. It shot into the sky like a firework, then exploded halfway to the looming shadow of apocalypse. The tether snapped. The dark shape in space wobbled. It did not vanish, but it drifted farther away, back, into the deep. On the ground, the beam disappeared. The scar shrank. The pull eased. Thor dropped to one knee, breathing hard. The giant stone face in the sky cracked. Omega energy leaked out and then pulled back in. Darkseid's voice came one last time. "This is not over," he said. "You have delayed the fall. You have not stopped it." The face shattered and dissolved into dust. For a moment, Gotham's sky was full of tiny glowing pieces. Then they faded. Thunder rolled. Flash stopped running. He leaned against a broken lamppost. "So," he panted, "did we just throw Darkseid's spider into his own face?" "More or less," Cyborg said. "We also stabilized the scar a little. The readings look better than before. Not perfect, but better." Superman floated down beside Thor. "Hey," he said softly. "You still with us?" Thor looked up, sweat mixing with rain on his face. He smiled weakly. "I am," he said, "and I am very tired and very hungry." Wonder Woman laughed. "Some things do not change," she said. Batman scanned the scar. The numbers on his lenses were not great, but they were not as bad as he feared. "We bought time," he said. "Not safety, but time." He looked at Thor. "You did it," he said, "without breaking the world." "I had help," Thor said. "Get used to it," Flash said. "That's kind of our whole thing." The ceremony on the Watchtower was small. No cameras, no reporters. Just the League in their main room, with Earth turning under their feet. A simple case sat on the table. Inside, next to many other symbols, was a metal plaque shaped like the League's logo. Batman opened the case. "Thor," Superman said, "we don't usually do speeches for this, but this time feels important." He picked up the plaque. "We still don't understand everything about your power," he went on. "The cracks aren't gone. Darkseid will come back. Lex is still out there doing Lex things." Flash nodded. "He really is a brand," he muttered. "But you saved cities," Clark said. "You saved the wall from tearing wider. You refused Darkseid's offer. You chose to stay and stand with us, even when leaving might have been easier." He held the plaque out. "So," he said, "if you want it, we'd like to make it official. Thor Odinson, welcome to the Justice League. Honorary member, Thunder Division." Thor looked at the little symbol. "Do I get discounts at your diners?" he asked. Flash laughed. "I can probably get you a free milkshake." "Then this is a worthy honor," Thor said. He took the plaque and held it for a moment, then clipped it to the strap of his armor. "Very well," he said. "I will be your thunder when you call. I will be your friend when you are tired, and I will eat your food when you're too busy to finish it." "That last part is very important," Flash said. "We waste so many fries." Batman reached into his belt and pulled out a small data drive. "This," he said, holding it up, "is a plan Lex offered me. A way to lock away your power or send you through the cracks. I haven't opened it. Cyborg has it locked down." He met Thor's eyes. "I won't lie," Batman said. "If things had gone badly in Gotham, if you had taken Darkseid's offer, if you had lost control, I might have used something like this. Not because I hate you, because I have to think about worst cases." Thor nodded. "You are who you are," he said. "You worry about the dark. I swing at it. We make a good pair." Batman let out a slow breath. "I'm destroying this version," he said. He crushed the drive in his gloved hand. Bits of plastic and metal fell to the floor. We'll still have contingency plans, he added, but they'll be ours, built with you, not against you. Thor's smile was small, but real. Thank you, he said. John stepped forward. The cracks will still need watching, he said. They are scars now, old wounds, but with your help, we can keep them from opening fully. I will stand at the wall, Thor said. On this side of it, at least. Cyborg nodded. We can build better monitors, he said. Tie them to your hammer. Give you a map of weak spots so you know where to step lightly. I will try to step lightly, Thor said. No promises if I see a good tavern. That's fair, Green Lantern said. They stood in a circle for a moment, quiet, looking down at the planet below. It still spun. The diner in Metropolis was busy at lunch. The bell over the door chimed almost constantly. People came and went, carrying takeout bags, coffee, and the smell of fries with them. In a corner booth, 4 people sat together. Clark Kent wore his glasses and a simple shirt and tie. He had taken off the cape and the S. He looked like any other reporter on break, if you didn't look too close. Diana Prince wore a neat blazer over a white top, hair tied back. She could have passed for a lawyer or a museum worker. Bruce Wayne wore a dark coat and a relaxed shirt. To anyone watching, he was just a rich man visiting friends. His eyes were tired, but softer than usual. Thor still wore his armor. I own only this, he had said, when they asked if he had other clothes. It is good armor. Why would I wear less good clothes? The table was full of plates. Burgers, fries, onion rings, a salad that no one was touching, and 3 milkshakes. Thor had a coffee as well, claiming he wanted to give Earth's drink a final fair test. On the wall above the counter, a small TV showed a news report with the sound off. Images flashed. The beam over Gotham, the shadow of apocalypse in the sky, the League fighting, Thor holding back the crack. Words scrolled along the bottom. International Council announces new interdimensional protocols. Justice League confirms ongoing work with Asgardian Alley. Kids at another table played with toy hammers and plastic rings. One of them held a little Superman figure in the other hand and made it fly around the salt shaker. Boom, the child said. Thunder punch. Careful, his friend replied. You'll break the table. Thor watched them smiling. This world likes to tell stories, he said. Even when the last story nearly killed them, they make toys and laugh. That's how they heal, Diana said. They turn fear into play, into jokes, into hope. Bruce stirred his coffee. They also turn it into new rules, new plans, new weapons, he said. The council is already talking about how to handle future gods. They want procedures for people like you. They cannot make a plan that fits every god, Thor said. We are stubborn. Clark wiped a bit of sauce from his chin. They can try, he said. But at the end of the day, it always comes back to trust. They trust us, or they don't. We keep showing up anyway. The waitress came over with another plate. Thunder special, she said, setting it in front of Thor. Extra everything. And the cook says if you call it worthy again, he's putting that on the menu. Thor looked at the burger. It was big. Not as big as some feasts he had seen, but big enough. The meat was cooked just right. The cheese was melting. The sauce dripped onto the plate. Someone had drawn a tiny lightning bolt in the mustard on the side. He picked it up and took a bite. He chewed slowly. The table waited. At last, he swallowed. This, he said, is very, very worthy. The waitress grinned. I'll tell him, she said, and walked away. Clark laughed. So, he said, is this your favorite now? Thor thought about all the meals he had tried. Big belly burgers, Central City chili dogs, Coast City fish, Gotham specials, roadside corn. Yes, he said. Today, tomorrow, I will test again. It is important to keep checking. Diana shook her head, amused. You sound like Batman with a new crime pattern, she said. I do not collect data on fries, Bruce said. Yet, Clark added. Bruce almost smiled. On the TV, the report shifted to a shot of Lex Luthor standing at a podium, talking about global defenses and the need for human-led response. The sound was off, but his mouth moved passionately. Lex isn't done, Clark said quietly. He never is, Bruce replied. He'll build more devices. He'll look for other ways to control the skies. Darkseid isn't done either, Diana said. He will pull again, from another angle, through another scar. Thor nodded. I know, he said, but neither are we. He took another bite of the Thunder Special. It dripped sauce onto his armor. He did not care. Outside, the city moved on. Cars honked. People hurried on their lunch breaks. A street musician played softly near the corner. Kids ran past the window, one of them with a homemade cardboard hammer raised in the air. Far above, in orbit, the Watchtower circled the planet, sensors watching for cracks. Cyborg's monitors hummed quietly. John floated in a meditation room, mind skimming the calm surface of billions of thoughts. Higher still, in a place between space and something else, the source wall loomed. Its cracks were smaller than before, but they were still there. Faces and shapes waited silent. On Apocalypse, Darkseid sat back on his throne, eyes closed. This universe resists, Darkseid murmured. They all do, Darkseid replied, until they do not. He closed his hand. In it, for a heartbeat, flickered the image of a hammer. He let it fade. There will be other chances, he said. In Metropolis, Lex Luthor turned away from the cameras and looked out at the sky. We're not done, Thunder God, he said under his breath. I will not live under your storms forever. Back in the diner, Thor finished his burger and leaned back with a satisfied sigh. The cracks are smaller, he said. Your machines say so. We have bought time. Bruce nodded. Time is all we ever really win, he said. Diana raised her coffee cup. Then we make good use of it, she said. Clark lifted his milkshake. To making good use of it, he said. Thor lifted his own cup of coffee. He had decided it was still not as good as mead, but it had its own strange charm. To time, he said. To messy freedom. To worthy food. They clinked their cups together. Outside, a low roll of thunder moved across the clear blue sky. No storm followed. Just a gentle sound, like a reminder. The world turned. The cracks held for now. And somewhere between gods and men, on a small, crowded, noisy piece of land called Earth, a thunder god took another sip of coffee and decided that, for the moment, this strange new Midgard was exactly where he needed to be.